doctor?
Yeah, ladies. Bless you. But it was rough.
No big deal. I should have just reverted. Believe me. What you say? Really? Today's the beginning. I should have with you more. Two jobs I still don't know. So if I see you, I should just mind my business.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think about that? Hello, my friend. Hello, friend. How are you? Who's that?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's city council meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Baena?
Present.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Present.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Present.
Councilperson Figueroa? Present. Councilperson Solano?
Present.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Present.
Council President Ferry?
Present.
Council President, we have
Thank you. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
next item on the agenda under number 3 is public comment.
public comments. We have one person. Franklin Solano.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to, my name is Franklin
Say your
Solano.
name.
Franklin Solano, 542 Holland Street, Central Fort Rhode Island. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all my colleagues for the opportunity to work alongside with you for 8 straight years. I also wanted to thank all our constituents, the mayor, all the people that work in the city of Central Falls, and all the people that pass by to the city for the opportunity they grant me. I think probably that's going to be my last meeting as a council member, at least in this time. And then I wanted to thank for that, and I will still here, and I will still servicing the community anyway. And I want to bless you all, and hopefully you keep working hard for the community, keep moving the city forward, and move the city or do this from the city, not based on concern, but based on the fact. Thank you so much.
Next item on the agenda under number 4 is approval of records. Item A, meeting minutes from November 13th, 2024 council meeting.
Has everyone read and approved of the minutes of the last meeting? Motion by Councilwoman Reyna and second by
I'll
Councilman
second.
Solano and Councilwoman all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I was not here, so.
Motion passes 6-0.
Yeah, he,
Two recusals.
Councilman Pedrano.
Motion passes 5-0 to recusals. The next item under number 5 is executive communication. Under A is consideration of request by Mayor Maria Rivera to extend the duration of acting director of Department of Public Works, Louis Aponte, by 90 days pursuant to section 2-48 of the Code of Ordinance.
Good evening, Council. Just to provide some brief context on this. The charter allows the mayor to appoint without a vote of council for 90 days a acting director. So Luis Aponte was appointed to that role in August. At that point, we began a wide-ranging search process, which is accelerated with the appointment of a permanent HR director. The ideal thing would be that we would have found and vetted the right candidate by the end of the 90-day period. At this point, we're not confident. We have gone and done all of our due diligence and all of our vetting. But this is indicative of the fact that the mayor didn't have a friend or a person that she just wanted to slide into this role. To date, we've had 31 applications received. We've done 14 phone screenings. We've had 6 in-person interviews. We've reached out to veterans organizations to try to augment our recruiting efforts. But like I said, I think it's important with a role like this. This is the position through which a lot of people experience their city government through the Department of Public Works. It's important for us to find the right leader there. Luis Aponte has done a very capable job in the acting role. So we would like council permission to retain him in the acting role for another 90 days while we continue to vet other candidates.
Thank you for your motion. Motion to continue the search.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Continue your search.
Motion passes 7-0. The next item under executive communication, under D, is Department Financial Reports, November 2024.
Has everyone reviewed and are they satisfied with the department reports?
Council President, I do have some questions on the financial reports. I know Mayor is not here, so I just wanted to pose the questions for the record, and then I also did send them to her earlier today, so she has that. But when you look at the quarterly financials, they are for quarter end September 30th, so they're for the first quarter. And there were 4 items on the quarterly financials that I wanted to just ask about. One was the total personnel. I assume that is the personnel board, or if we could get clarification on what total personnel is. Just because it looks like we're about halfway through the allocated amount, but again, this is for only 1 quarter. And so just kind of wanted to get an understanding and to, I don't know, I guess what's happening there.
Why don't I have you enter those questions into the record, and I'll take them one at a time.
Sounds good. The other question was for the Parks and Rec budget. It looks like about 40% of the funds have been spent. But again, it's quarter one, I'm sure there's been a lot of events and it could be that, but just kind of wanted to get, a better idea of, what the rest of the year looks like and why we have to spend so much of the total allocation in the first quarter. And then same with the library, it looks like the funds, allocated, to the library have been drawn by about 75%. So wondering how it's paid out. And then, just wanted to get a better understanding around the debt service. Because that also looks like it's been drawn down about 80% of the total allocation, so just
Yep.
wanted to.
Why don't I take those questions first? Normally, when we present the financial report from the finance department, Mary is here. She broke her foot over the weekend. So she's all good. She's going to be back. But that's why she's not here this evening. So I am never going to claim to be as good as Mary, but there are a couple of these things that I can answer. The others will get back and we can enter the record next month. In regards to Park and Rec, it's the exact reason that you suspected. You think about the number of Parks and Rec events that we do over the course of the year. They're weighted in the summer primarily, when kids are out of school, when it's weather that's nicer than this. And we have a real slowdown in the events that we do in winter, really, until it warms back up in the spring. So we're exactly where we expect to be on the budget in terms of the burn rate. The library is not a department of the city, so they're a separate entity, so we pay them basically in a lump sum, the majority of it. For the 2 years that I've been here, for cash flow reasons, they've come to us with a request to weight it or move it earlier in the year, which we have no issue with and have been happy to oblige on, and that's why. It's paid out as a lump sum, or close to a lump sum. I will have to let Mary get back to you. I don't want to speak out of turn on the debt service. It's not my area of expertise.
No problem. Do you know about the total personnel?
That one, I believe it's an overtime bucket, and there's more overtime work we do, especially out of the Public Works Department. And in the summer, we have weeds that grow up to our sidewalk. So we anticipate that burn rate to be higher over the summer, and then we hold the other half of it in reserve for winter snow removal planning. But I don't know that one for certain, so, and I'll have to let Mary give you the final answer. But the other two I can speak to.
No problem. Thank you, RJ. And
Yep.
then, what should I have, just a few other questions around
Yep.
ARPA, the ARPA spending. So, I have about 6 questions for that one.
Same thing, I'll have you enter them into the record, and then
Yeah.
I'll take the ones that I can't speak to.
Sounds good. So, it looks like there's some money left over from the affordable housing project at Washington and Hood. So just wanted to know if that money is being reallocated and if you know to what it would be reallocated. Then there's also sewer and sidewalk repair, allocations, but it looks like, nothing has been noted in the expenses. I'm assuming it's because the money that, cause I did see some sidewalk repair
Parker.
happening. So I assume it's from another funding source, but wanted to confirm. And then, there's a line item called the Central Falls Mental Health and other services listed, but the amounts are left blank, so wondering if we kind of decided to allocate the funds somewhere else, or kind of what happened there. And then the program coordinator for Central, I think is Zuli. So just wondering around the plan for her salary once the money runs out, because I know she is part of the constituent services team that does a lot of great work, and we need her, and so just wondering, if there's a plan for that. Also, it looks like we might be a little bit over budget on the workforce development coordinator, so wanted to know what the plan for that was moving forward, because I know that position is also doing a lot of great work with our business owners. And then, is there a line item that will be reduced to accommodate, that over expenditure there? And then just wanted to also confirm that everything must be spent by 2026.
Again, not the finance director, but there's some of these that I'm fully briefed on and can't speak to. So I'll start, actually at the bottom and then move up. Yes, you are correct, 2026 is the allocation date. It's something that Mary and I meet about very frequently. in no circumstances are Mary and I going to allow any money that is well deserved by the citizens, residents of the city to be sent back. So there's, yes, the 2026 date is the spend date, but there are actually some interim deadlines that we've also been tracking. There's a obligation deadline, which is actually the end of this year, that the Treasury Department actually changed their definition and rules on about 6 months ago. Mary is very on top of these things. We've recognized the change in the U.S. Treasury Department's definition of obligated, and then we put a whole plan in place to make sure that we've got everything obligated under their new definition by 12/31 of this year, which is a new date. We're not sending any money back. Over my dead body, we send money back. Workforce Development Coordinator. I'll have to check with Mary on the slight overspending, because that shouldn't be reflecting there.
Okay.
Because what we have done is, when I started as chief of staff, I did a review of all of the FTEs that were funded outside of the operating budget. Because it's the mayor's belief, and she asked me to do a review, because we don't want to be funding through non-recurring revenue sources, heads. And the Workforce Development Coordinator was one of those. And so we have gone out to identify additional funding sources. The funding actually ended the 30th of, 9/30 at the end of September. And we have now negotiated a deal with Rick, the Workforce Development Hub, and Skills for Rhode Island's Future. So not only are they now paying for that role, we also are sort of collaborating with them on, or at the beginning to collaborate with them on, a more fully fledged economic development strategy for the city. Something the mayor plans to talk about more in her inaugural address. But that cost is now being assumed outside of the city, so I'll have to look with Mary on the overspending that you're referencing, but there's a plan that's signed agreement with Rick and Skills for Rhode Island's Future to continue that position, but not being footed by the taxpayers. Similar answer goes for Zulena's position. Like I said, we started a review. That's the one position that we don't yet have the plan for exactly how our external funding will continue. It's something Mary and I meet about very frequently. And something Mary and I are probably going to be addressing more in this coming budget cycle. Sewer and sidewalk repair. You're exactly right. So the work that you've seen on Parker Street is funded through CDBG funds. Through the separate thing that you see reflected in the ARPA schedule, that's a match for the state's roadworks program. And we had an initial pilot effort to try to make the city's match in-kind labor, which the state DOT actually complimented us on as an innovative approach. But from a bandwidth standpoint, we tried it as a pilot. We weren't having the burn rate we needed to get through the work as fast as we would need to in order to finish by the date. And so we had to pivot the whole strategy. That's why there's now a cash match through ARPA. But because it's now winter, that work wouldn't be able to start till next spring.
And then the affordable housing.
I'll have to have Mary comment on that. I'm not sure the specifics of that.
That sounds good. Thank you. And then just one other wondering I had in terms of grants was like, I know we hired Derek.
Yeah. Actually, I looked this up beforehand. Derek actually did come. I think you might have been away for the September meeting.
Yes.
The plan that Mary and I had was Derek would come on 6-month intervals, so he would come report for the next one. But if you look on YouTube, he provided a full report for the council then on activities. We can have him come more frequently, but it felt a little bit redundant. It felt like by twice a year was probably the right cadence. But if you've got specific questions, I meet with him and Mary every other week. I can say that the city is definitely getting its return on investment from the work that he's doing. And if you've got any specifics, I can put you in touch with him. But I think twice a year is probably the right cadence for him to present to council. So he presented at the September meeting. We'll have him again in the spring.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Anyone else regarding the financial reports of the departments? Hearing none, seeing none, all those in I'd like a motion to approve the reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Salat, Councilman Mayor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Wozzowski?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Ferry?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The next item on the agenda under 6, new business, is City Council sitting as Board of Licensing Commissioners, hearing and consideration of the petition license. We have a Class A restaurant, new, on Pequeño Salvadorino Inc., doing business as in Pequeño Salvadorino, 791 Lonsdale, Central Falls, Rhode Island, 03863. We have the owner here, Mr. Pedro Acevedo. Mr. Acevedo, do you need a translator, or are you?
That's fine.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Could you tell us a little bit about the restaurant?
No, we just try to reopen the restaurant is open right now under a different name, but we try to process to change the name, after a few years, so we need to do some changes and that's what now.
So what are the major changes?
No, just the
They're
name,
same
just the
owner.
name, just the name,
So you're currently the owner,
yes,
it's just,
yeah,
just changing the name?
yeah, so
Why did you decide to change the name?
I'm sorry?
Why did you decide to change?
We have, first, the sales been not low,
Okay.
so that's one issue, so I think we need something different.
Yeah, okay.
No, just checked off new here, so new name actually.
Basically, yes.
Okay, same hours?
Yes, everything continues.
7 to 12 every day from Sunday to
No, we open 11. We have a 10 to 11, I believe.
Yeah, but that application says 7 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah, just in case you know about that. We never open any hours.
But, but it's 12, technically 12 AM, right?
Yeah,
12
yeah.
at night, like midnight?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes, not 24 hours.
yeah.
This is the one in Lonza
Yes, our front everything. Yeah.
Because you also have another one, right?
Yeah, Costa del Sol. Yeah, Costa Valley.
Any further questions of the applicant?
No, I make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Reyes, second by, Councilman Martinez. Okay, I'm just curious why it was checked off. So the name is,
I can answer that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
checked off no because he had a liquor license that carried a victualling for this restaurant. He missed the deadline for the victualling, so he's applying as a restaurant so he can continue to function as a restaurant without liquor.
oh, all right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Diana?
Yeah.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Lavasi?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Ferry?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you,
Best
sir.
of
Thank
luck.
you.
Best
Thanks.
of luck.
Thanks for coming.
The next item on the agenda under new business is item 2, advertising and consideration of the 2024-2025 liquor license renewals. These are the liquor licenses that were late in their renewals. They didn't meet the November deadline, so they're here today. The first one is Class A liquor for J. Gaga Beverage Corporation doing business as ABC Liquors, 390 Broad Street, Central Falls. And the second is a Class B liquor, Log In Entertainment, doing business as Limo's Place, 499 High Street. They're not required to be here because of the rules,
So are they up to date now though?
yes,
Oh, okay, both of them up to date?
both of them are.
Okay. I make a motion to approve both collectively, so they're up to date.
Council President, you cannot make motions.
You have to ask for
I'm
them.
asking,
Okay.
what I say, I make,
Yeah.
I ask.
So more to collectively.
By Councilman Salam, second by Dr. Hill. Roll call vote.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Perry.
Yes.
Motion passes
Took
7-0.
them 8 years to say.
The next item on the agenda, under number 3, is hearing and consideration of the 2024-2025 business renewals. These businesses are in the same situation, they missed the deadline for November, so they're renewing. We have a visual and entertainment for Lodge-In Entertainment doing business as Lima's Place. We have a mobile food establishment for Taco and Madre LLC doing business as Taco and Madre. Automotive repair, My Friend's Garage LLC doing business as My Friend's Garage. Automotive repair, Alaska Auto Repair. And a Class C variety, Pizza R Us Inc. doing business as Pizza R Us / Convenience R Us. And a Class C variety, Goshen Rhode Island LLC doing business as Dollar General.
Same situation, they're all up to date
They're
now.
all up to date now.
All of them.
Okay.
May motion for the read.
Councilman Salat? To approve collectively. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Mabasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Perry?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, under item 4, is consideration of tax abatement submitted by the tax assessor.
Hello. Your biannual trip. Is this routine abatements, correct?
So, there's 2 today. The first one was just an error on my part. We taxed them as a commercial property and it's an apartment building. So, we're just correcting the tax rate to the residential rate. The other one is an abatement by the Board of Appeals. So this is one that I denied their exemption and the Board of Appeals is giving them the exemption for the year.
I find it hard to believe it was your error. I'll accept that. So, any questions?
I have a question, Council President. Dr. Bouchard, can you tell us a little bit about why you denied it in the first place?
Yep, so all exemptions in the city have to be authorized under state law 4433. I reviewed all of the relevant law, consulted with Matt, and we find no basis for this property to be granted an exemption. However, in this case, the board has overruled me on this.
So, and I got a question on the second one. It was taxed as a commercial, but it's a residential. So the difference between one and the other will be 16,000 and change?
Correct, at $1.3 million property, yeah, the difference is the 16,000. Yeah, pretty big difference.
Yes.
Well, I think you've explained both of them well. Any further questions? Make a motion to approve both claims, exemptions, abatements.
So move, everybody keep quiet over there.
So,
Council thinking. I said I was thinking, but no, you're missing one.
second. Councilman Figueroa, second. Roll call vote.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Mabasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Perry?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Hope to see you next year.
Next item on the agenda under new business is a petition to the council by Mr. Camilo Rodriguez for the Dexter Street Central Falls for Cosmopolitan Influence Businesses Cosmopolitan 494 Dexter Street. The reason is requesting an extension of operating hours for the business.
Speak to that. here to explain, something about this.
Good evening, council. During the last meeting.
If you could just speak into the microphone, makes it so that we can capture it.
Sorry. Good evening. During the last council meeting, we had discussed the extension of two businesses hours, La Cantina and La Taberna. It was granted at the time as a pilot program to be able to see what happens that evening, to make sure that there are no issues as far as public safety, as far as manpower, to make sure that there are, no issues as far as the evening, as far as the extension of hours. We came to a consensus that the hours would be extended on those two businesses and those two businesses only at the time till 2 a.m. But the rules would still be in place, that liquor sales would end at 12:45. Everybody would still have to be out of there before 2 a.m., except for the people that work there for cleaning and for the end of the night, usual routine. After reviewing the current request by the Cosmopolitan and speaking to Colonel Roberson, the police department at this time would request that there are no more businesses extended hours for that evening. Just based on, we want to see what is going to happen this New Year's Eve with these two current businesses in place. And at that point, after that, at the first council meeting of the year, I'm more than happy to review it with the council and explain to it if there was any issues or if there was not. That is the request of the police department at this time.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, as you hear the media talking, when we approved last meeting, it was a pilot program. And we approved it based on that. I mean, the police shortage here, there's a lot of things going on. Your application is great. Everything here look like the thing that we wanted to see. But at this time, because we already approved two, and that was a pilot program, it seemed like it's gonna be a little bit tougher for us to approve that. Nothing personal. Your application is great, but that's something that we agreed on last time that we did the approval.
So, yeah, I understand, I mean, there was two businesses before, and it's something they're trying to try and see how it works for the people, and then two other businesses, like he said, it's okay, I understand. So, if it was denied, that's fine.
I personally always like to, support businesses and do, whatever it takes to help you out with things like that. But sometimes we have to, maintain our wells, and we agree on that. And the mayor just said it, and that's totally true. So, thank you for your application, and next time let's see what happens with it.
I'll try again later.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck with it. Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.
Looking for a motion to deny after hearing the major speak on behalf of the Center Falls Police Department.
Council President, I'll make a motion to deny based on what was discussed at the previous meeting where it was a pilot program as Major Carroll had just addressed again. We wanted to try this and see how it worked out. Next year, we'll see when we review the information from the police department if that was a good choice. And how we can better it for maybe other candidates next time. So at this point though, I would stick with what we had decided previously in just two, so that would be a motion to deny at this time.
We have a motion by Councilman Ferrer, for a second. If Franklin would take over, I will make a motion to second. Roll call vote.
Councilperson Baena?
No. No, vote to deny.
No, you can still approve.
I would vote to approve.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes to deny.
Councilperson Lavasa?
No.
Councilperson Tejeda?
No.
Councilperson Solano?
So let me clarify this. We are making motion to deny.
To deny, yeah.
To deny.
So we have 3 votes to approve, 1 vote to deny.
I'm a deny.
You're denied. You're changing
I mean, no, I'm a no to the
It
motion.
just, we have to
You're a no
clarify
to the
because
motion,
people are
Motion,
voting
motion
confusing.
is,
So
motion
you
is,
voted yes if you're denying, no if you're approving.
No,
You're approving?
You approving or you denying?
like you would like to.
Are you approving the
Correct,
petition
yes.
or you're denying the
She would
petition?
like to approve this request. You would
Council-
like to approve the
Council President
request.
Solano?
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, but it's yes if you wanna deny the request. So Councilman Figueroa wants to, he's voting yes to the
It might be
motion.
easier if you just say approve or deny.
But approve what?
Approve the petition, deny the petition.
Okay, so approve. Deny, approve.
So to clarify,
Okay.
with the testimony of the police department, basically, if you agree with the presentation of the major, how you would be voting on this motion is yes.
And like I say, I mean,
So-
it's nothing personal, but I
If I
mean,
may
we
just
make an agreement last
clarify,
time, and
we
we have
have-
to stick with the agreement and keep our words with what we say last time, so.
If I may just clarify, we have an approval of the petition by Councilwoman Diana, a denial of the petition by Councilperson Kazarian, an approval of the petition by Councilperson Lavasa, a denial of the petition by Councilperson Solano, Councilperson Figueroa, deny, and Councilperson Rosado Martinez,
Deny.
Council President Farrell.
You know the answer here.
to deny the
The motion passes 5-2. Thank you, sorry for the confusion.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda of new business is petition of Narragansett Electric and Verizon Union Inc. for joint for identical pole location, install pole 10-50 side of road for service of road apartment buildings on Cross Street. These are the buildings that are being built by PCF.
And they, I'll speak on their behalf, I don't think this is a good idea, probably. They always, I mean, they have to do what they have to do. They gotta put up telephone lines, power lines, they put up poles, I mean, that's their job. For us to deny them, put up electricity and stuff, counterproductive, I think. And they generally don't send anyone from the electric. That's questions, go ahead.
No, it's just, I mean, they have to do what they have to do.
That's right. Looking for a motion.
So move.
Councilman Figueroa? No call vote?
Councilperson Baena?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Farrell?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, under number 7, schedule of bills, hearings, and or consideration is a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city to purchase 85 Front Street, Plat 2, Lot 196, 1154 Broad Street, Plat 3, Lot 3, and 1228 High Street, Plat 2, Lot 44, in the city of Central Falls, and to transfer the properties to Central Falls Redevelopment Authority. We have Jim Vandermillen here, the planning director, to speak on this.
Hey.
Good evening, Council President and members of the council. I appreciate the opportunity to come here and provide some background on the proposed resolution for the acquisition of the 3 properties that make up a portion of the former Osram facility. As mentioned by the city clerk, 85 Hunt Street, and just for clarification, so everybody knows which properties we are speaking of, 85 Hunt Street property is on the north side of Hunt Street, between railroad tracks and Broad Street. One that looks like a little parking lot right there. 1154 Broad Street, which is next to the Rite Aid. It's a paved parcel, no buildings on it. And 1228 High Street, which is at the corner of Chase and Golden, also a paved lot with no structures on it. This is a rare opportunity that the city has to acquire and develop or bring about the development of a former underutilized site. Previously, it had been in operation, as many of you know, as a large employer in the city. Had been vacant for a decade or so when Phoenix investors purchased the property. And while the city appreciated Phoenix coming in and bringing some new life to the property, the mayor made it very clear from the beginning, right after they acquired the property, that given its location and given its size, that she believed that there was very strong potential to do more than just what the developer was proposing. Not instead of, but in addition to what was being proposed. And this is a company that primarily comes in and renovates sites for use as storage and warehousing, kind of last mile delivery, if you will. And over the course of past couple of years have been negotiations with the developer, the owner. The owner was open to selling a portion of the property to the city. Once they expressed their openness to having the city purchase the property, the city worked hard to identify funding to acquire the property, worked in strong collaboration with the federal congressional delegation, and were awarded congressionally directed spending funds that are administered through HUD. And so over the past couple of years, almost now, we within the city have worked through the process. As you might imagine, HUD being a large bureaucracy, there are a number of steps that we've had to go through, and all for good reason, to ensure that the funds are used properly, that they're used in accordance with an appraisal of the property, that environmental guidelines are followed. There's an extensive environmental assessment process that was conducted to be in compliance with EPA regulations as well as state environmental regulations. Having cleared those hurdles, we are close to the point where we're going to be able to close on the property. And in the meantime, what we've done is started gearing up for what comes next. And over the past 6 months or so, we had an opportunity to hear from a housing studio through the Harvard Graduate School of Design. Some very bright minds came in and take a look at what the potential for development is on the site. Not to design what will be done, but to kind of give us some idea of the range of densities. But the mayor has made it clear that what she feels is the best use for the site would be a mix of uses, both residential and commercial. So taking some of the ideas that we heard from the housing studio to heart, as well as considering what the priorities and needs are, the next step would be for the city to issue an RFP, a request for proposals, to potential developers, and really have designers and developers tell the city, with very strong guidelines coming from the city, what the optimal use for the site could be in terms of, for example, when I say we want to develop 50 units, 1,000, we kind of want to hear what the ideas are. What does the market think the best and optimal use of the site could be in alignment with the city's goals? And again, given the size of the property, this has real potential to take a big step towards further addressing the housing shortage in the city. As you know, a number of steps have already been taken, a number of developments, both in the pipeline and some already completed. And this could be the next real big opportunity for that to happen. So as we move forward, certainly keep the council involved in the process. We will be going forward with our comprehensive planning process over the next several months. A major element of that comprehensive planning process is a housing element. There's also an economic development component to that, and at this site we have the opportunity to really address both of those. So again, a very rare opportunity, and I just wanted to be able to provide that background for what's before you here.
Council President, if I could also add to what Jim had said, some more specifics on the comp plan. It's actually very fortuitous that the opportunity, the closing of this sequences right with the beginning of the calendar year. We are about to undertake in the coming months the beginning of the comprehensive planning process. And it's going to be the right vehicle and the right sort of medium for us to step back and consider what do we want the city of Central Falls to look like in 10 years from now in terms of the use of physical space, in terms of the planning priorities we have, especially around the question of housing, right? I think, when the mayor's been out knocking doors and campaigning, housing is one of the most frequent things that she hears as a need and a desire. At the same time, we need to balance that with all of the development implications that come from increasing housing stock in the city, right? And a comprehensive plan, which has robust community engagement elements in it, which is part of our plan, is the right sort of feedback mechanism for us to hear from the community and then try to figure out what is that balance between the increased infrastructure costs, the increased city services, for example, that come along with greater housing stock being added to the city, at the same time with the demand signals we're hearing from residents for those things. And so I actually view it as, again, very fortuitous timing that the acquisition of this property is going to sequence right with when we are kicking off the comprehensive planning process, so that we can think about the future use of this property in the concert of all of the other things that we need to consider when considering a major development, right? Basically, we won't approve or move forward with specific development items within this new acquired property outside of the comprehensive planning process. It's sort of a vehicle to consider all of the range of impacts that can come from changing the use of one of the larger remaining open parcels in the city.
I had a question, I guess, Jimmy, the one. So we ended up with about, what, 1/3 of the acquisition of Osram? 1/4?
Yeah, so it's about 2.5 total acres.
That's bigger than thought. Anybody that's lived in the city for a few years when the buildings were there, and then you see it not there any longer, it's amazing how big of a piece of property. Any other question?
Yes, I do have a question. Jim, thank you very much for the explanation, which is great. I just want to ask you, the cost of the property is equal the grant that we've received, plus the probably closing cost?
Yes, that's correct.
Jim, you could just make
Yeah,
sure
sure.
so we can enter it into the record.
Yes, in response to the question about the cost and the grant, relative to the grant, it is the same amount, but it's less than what the appraised value came in at, significantly less actually.
Yeah, that's great, but I got another question about the development implications, and also because probably gonna develop some property to alleviate the shortage of houses in Central Falls, but what is the plan in terms of parking space?
So those are, those critical question, and that's something that continues to be part of our discussion. The most recent discussion we had with our internal housing group with the mayor last week included that as well. So again, the designs are not anywhere, we're not proposing a design. As RJ mentioned, we will be getting feedback through the comprehensive planning process. We will also be working with prospective developers of this site to help us determine really what the right mix would be for, we have this number of housing units in this location, what would be the parking needs. Also, it's adjacent to some vibrant businesses in the area, and this may be an opportunity to provide some additional parking as well. So those details are to come, but you're absolutely right in raising that as an issue that will be part of the process of
Yeah, because
coming up with the design for the site.
Like Councilman Solano was in my head, because literally I'm like, this could be an opportunity for some parking garages, multi-floor, right? Like, as we think about, yes, we're addressing the housing shortage, but also, is bringing more people into the city. And this is a conversation I've also had, with RJ as well around, and I think I mentioned it in previous, council meetings too, in terms of when we are in budget sessions, you hear the police department, fire department saying they're at the limit, right? And so bringing more housing is great to address that, but then again, the implications of bringing more people, what does that look like in terms of our departments, our school districts, right? So anyway, a lot of things to think about, and just so then to confirm, the 2.6 million includes closing costs, or are closing costs separate? And then if they're separate, where is that money coming from?
Yeah, it is, as included in the purchase and sale agreement. It is the acquisition and reasonable costs associated with the closing.
Okay. I have another question, but it's more around the comprehensive plan. It's a question, comment, if you will. I was part of a previous comprehensive planning session. And I guess I wondered about like the community engagement piece of it, because, and I don't know if that was because we were planning for something, like I can't really remember, it was years ago to be honest, but just making sure that like there's input from everyone, not specific people, creating some sort of advisory or committee that includes just specific leaders in the community or people who have different interests. Because it was very diverse last time, but there were also people who had an interest in, having the city look a certain way, that weren't necessarily residents of the city. So, I think making sure it's a comprehensive process all around that includes residents, and hopefully us,
Yeah, absolutely, I appreciate those comments, and we are, some of you may have had an opportunity to meet our new principal deputy director, Josh Magnone. He's gonna be the point person for this, so through some very deliberate moves and support from the administration, decision was made to bring somebody on, and we're gonna be able to dedicate a large portion of Josh's time. We've also got a consultant who will be helping us pull this together, but it is absolutely essential, as you mentioned, that we have the right process in place to make sure we get that input. And we welcome ideas from council, we welcome ideas for participation in this. It'll be a combination of everything from looking at each of the elements. I mentioned housing, development, there's a recreation component, there's an education component, making sure that those topic areas are getting the right input, as well as sort of looking geographically around the city, right? We're not a big place, but different parts of the city have different opportunities, right? Different land uses and so on. And so getting the right mix across topic areas, making sure that the city as a whole is well represented. Thank you.
I agree with Tatiana, and frankly, as one of the things we definitely have to take into consideration the parking space. So if you look at a lot of building, in a small city, a lot of building has even underground. I don't know how close you can do stuff like that, but it definitely it's eventually gonna become an issue for the parking of the city. I agree.
Yeah, all options will be on the table in order to make the most of this opportunity. Building it out from one end of the site to the other, with buildings only would be the right mix. We have a mix some uses that'll support it, that'll have some open space. So all of those things will be brought into the mix.
We're gonna put a monorail right through the center of the city. I have a question for Kevin. Was this the resolution you?
No.
Oh, it's seven, so
That's
it'll be on
something-
next year.
something
Okay,
different.
then, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. With that, there's no further questions, so the clerk,
We need a motion.
I move to approve.
for the resolution, motion by Councilman Swan.
I'll second.
We need that, right? We need it. Let's grab it and see how the development come up.
Councilperson Maya? Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes?
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Sí, señor. Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Pettit?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, under number 7, is hearing and or consideration of claims. Our first claim is from Mr. Pedro Martinez at 198 Cross Street. He has a claim of $300. It was tabled on September 9th and on October 16th. He alleges debris from a weed whacker damaged his car window.
Where
That's
are
Pedro
we?
Perez. Sorry, it's Pedro Perez.
Has Public Works, been in touch as regard to, do we have workers that day?
I spoke to the DPW director, Mr. Fontaine. He stated that yes, they were in the area on that day, they were doing, yard work.
So with that, if that's the case, then what is the pleasure of the council on this?
Well, why was it tabled twice? Because he wasn't
Mr.
present?
Perez wasn't present on both occasions, and it appears he's not
Not
present
present
today.
today.
And he was notified.
Seeing we did hear from the DPW, perhaps to approve, whatever your pleasure is.
I'm a little torn on this one because he's not here, but he did do all of his due diligence and in a timely fashion. So he did everything
That's my point.
in July.
The last thing was-
Yeah,
The last thing was the DPW. They said they had workers there. I think it's an honest claim.
I agree. That's why I'm torn. Like, I know he's not here, but we don't know. Maybe he's working.
But it's okay.
Like-
Yeah, hold on.
No, I'm saying, because we've tabled it twice, and I think I moved to table it last time too, but I'm sort of putting myself in the constituent shoes, and I'm thinking, but what if I'm working, I can't meet the council meeting, like, am I gonna miss work to come get
No, I'm
my
asking for a
bucks?
motion to approve.
No, I'm not
To make-
arguing with you, I'm trying to
Okay.
make a point, because we tabled it twice, and so now I'm sort of expressing my opinion on
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
maybe,
We did have to
Yeah.
get the DPW, it's always nice to see
oh no, of
if
course.
they have work for them, and they were actually there, which obviously they were.
Yes, no, I'm in agreement with you, Council President.
Make a
I don't
motion.
know
Do
if
you
that's,
make a
I don't know
motion?
if it sounds like it, but I'm in agreement with you, yes, I make the motion to
Oh,
approve.
yeah.
When the conversations are happening with this community member, is the conversation happening? Is he not answering the phone? If I'm working, I would be able to say, unfortunately, I can't make it.
That's
I get where you're coming from, Councilman,
He
so I'm just trying to be
was-
contradictory.
He
because-
was spoken to, and he was told that the meeting was today, and he said he'd be here. I mean, anything could have happened, whether it's pretty bad, so. But he was notified.
I'm just teeter-tottering because it's 3 meetings. It's not about
Yeah,
the
that's
value,
good.
it's not about what happened, who
That's
was
where I
working,
was
where they
at.
were. My concern
Yes.
is 3 meetings, he missed 3 meetings. It's not a extreme amount of money, but today the weather isn't, but what about September,
I
what
can
about
say
October?
that on one of the meetings, he missed one of the calls because his phone was out of service. On the other meeting, we did leave him a message, and the actual conversation didn't happen, but this time we did have a conversation.
So there
I'm
was.
good with whatever, I'm just trying to ask the question.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
fair.
we could have approved
I,
it
sorry,
first
I,
out, so
I
tabling
just
it
believe
twice
it's a
and then.
valid and honest
approving
claim.
that.
I really believe, truly believe this is, sometimes we get claims that are not as valid as this, and I think this is a valid claim, particularly when we heard from the DPW. I put me over the top when I heard that we did that. Whatever your pleasure is. We have a motion on the council. So a second.
I'll second.
Second, then is a roll call vote.
Councilperson Diana?
Yes.
Councilperson Kazarian?
Yes.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Councilperson Ferry?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. The next motion on the agenda, the next claim on the agenda is Miss Monica Guzman. She has a claim of $811 for the alleged pothole damage. Ms. Guzman is here. If you could please approach.
Yes. Good evening. Do I go over what I fill out a report with the police. I was driving to work.
Your
Monica Guzman, yes, 200 Edgemere Road, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I was driving to work in the morning. I worked for the school district. And we were starting the school year. We were having our yearly meeting. And there was a pothole, I just don't remember the name of the streets where I drove through. I went right into it and my car hit really hard into the pothole. After that, it was just pong, 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 really bad noise in the car. So I had to pull it over and wait, and then they said, go make a police report. They came and they looked and they verified that there was a big pothole in there. I guess they repaired it after, so they said you have to make a police report and then bring it to the city. They said to bring a few quotes. I did 2 or 3 quotes. There was more damage than just the motor mount, so it was a motor mount damage to the car, so one was replaced. So I just did the one motor mount, and that was it.
I have a question for the acting solicitor. Potholes are $300, isn't it, I believe?
Thank you, Council President. I'm not familiar with that, it comes.
Potholes are $300 limit.
That's what I thought. And I briefly asked the acting DPW director if we had filled a pothole or was there a pothole. I don't know if we were sure or not sure, but again, the limit, you spend $800, but the limit for a pothole, and should we approve this tonight, would be $300.
You spent $800
About
in it?
$800.
That's something that I noticed, and we need to be more proactive in the potholes. There's potholes are in a few different places here, and we need to be more proactive in that, because I mean, it's not fair for the people having those accidents in the pothole, and we're not taking care of waiting for this to happen. So.
Ms. Guzman, I have a question because, I can't tell if okay, never mind, I see there's a purchase, cause some of the way that we have it scanned, it looks like there's some estimates.
Yes.
So I couldn't tell the estimates.
The receipt.
Yeah, and the receipts.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, it's just in different orders, so I apologize, I just wanna look at it.
And I went with the lowest estimate that.
So how does that work? I mean, she spent that kind of money, but we don't have any in this.
That's right, yeah, so that's the only thing.
$300 would be the best, should be good.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve.
If I may, I contacted DPW. Mr. Guzman did go over McCowan Street. He took pictures. He said that there was no evidence of pothole or pothole repair, and they had no report or work order out for work on that street, so I'm not sure if the police report does say it's Carlton Street. I know Ms. Guzman says she doesn't recall the street, so at this point, I'm not sure if it was Carlton Street or not, because Carlton Street shows that there was no problem.
So the police report said traveling on Carlton Street, an area of 100 feet Carlton Street.
Yes.
The operator hit a pothole.
Correct, but when I
That's
sent
the
out,
police report.
when I sent out Mr. Guzman, Mr. Pontian the same day, he stated that he didn't find anything. He did take pictures, which he supplied to us, and I sent over to the solicitor.
You went in person to the police department?
Yes, and the police came, they looked at it, and I took pictures of the area. And they had left the car that was there, and they removed. And the baby was on the side.
So they went with you to the place, to like where the pothole was?
They saw it there, yeah. I don't know.
How come there's a picture with the police report?
I believe so.
Could it have been that?
I had to pull my car over, in that area, and they came and actually they gave me a ride back to work, because I couldn't drive the car.
They said around, did you,
It was early morning, it was, 7:37.
you were going towards Calcutt?
Yes. No, I was going towards,
Memorial.
Dexter,
Veterans
No.
Memorial.
No, were you going towards Broad or Dexter?
toward Broad Street. It was on the right hand side.
So you were coming up Cowden
Yes,
to Broad Street?
yes.
Oh, Calvert, you're the next corner, I'm thinking. Full Route.
Yes, it was on
You
my
went
right,
up
it was on the right hand side.
So, so Council President, the part of Cowden Street that is being referenced is actually past Fletcher, so it's.
Yes,
Yeah.
past Fletcher.
Yes,
It was corner of Fletcher and just a little bit over on the right hand side.
I didn't see the
No.
picture.
Do you have a picture by any chance on your phone?
I don't remember, I thought I took a picture, but, I don't remember. I thought I did, yes, and I thought I brought it to the police department. But, and it's so hard, there were two people, and they thought it was like some kind of exposure, and I told, they said, "Are you okay?" And then I just pulled over and then plunk, and I just pulled my car around. And I think the police officers went over and then they did look, that there was they verified that there was a pothole on there.
It'd be nice if we got something from the DPW director here tonight. Again, the most, if we approve, would be $300. I see you spent over $800.
No, I understand.
Once we approve pending the DPW sends a letter that there was or wasn't a pothole. Which I would assume he could get that out as early as tomorrow. Whatever your pleasure. And that would be, I would seek to approve pending the letter from the DPW. Mr. Major has.
I just spoke to our dispatch center. Sergeant Orsini responded to the call. At the time, he did not take photos. There are no photos in the evidence of it, but there is a report from Ms. Guzman on that day stating that she did hit a pothole in the area.
Do you know if he saw the pothole, like is it?
I know that he responded to the
To the
call.
call.
Other than, I actually have to speak to Sergeant Orsini.
Yeah.
But he did say he did respond.
But he said there was no pothole there?
No, he said he responded
He
to
didn't talk
it
to
for a pothole, report of a person hitting the pothole. But he did not photograph the pothole.
So I would like, if it's okay with the council president and my colleagues, I'd like to make a motion to table so that we can talk to the officer who responded to the scene and get a letter from the DPW acting director. So my motion is to table until the next
The
meeting.
problem is, this is the last meeting of the year unless we have a special meeting. My suggestion would be approved pending a letter from the DPW or the police department that yes, it was possible.
Yeah, it's the
Otherwise,
last
we have
meeting.
to come back again.
Yeah, I mean, but
This is the last meeting of the year.
of the year, but, I mean, we
No, it's
have a
okay,
meeting in
but
January.
all I'm saying is, what she's saying, I'm not saying it's correct or not, I'm sure, you know, you hit something, and the limit is only 300, with that, $300, we could approve it, we wouldn't get any money until we're sure we got something from either the DPW or the police department, that yes, it was a problem. I think that's the fairest, have it come back again, you got the holidays, Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's what my.
So I move to approve pending, the approval from the DPW to send.
Either or the police department.
Yeah.
Either, you got two chances.
That way we don't have to, deal with this anymore, and if they send the letters and it's okay, then you receive them.
Wait a second.
You don't wanna come back?
I'm gonna
We
be
got
here.
real
Could I just ask for clarity in the motion,
Absolutely.
just so when, if we're executing,
Oh,
this, I
absolutely.
understand the will of the council? Is it a motion to approve contingent on the police or DPW providing evidence that there was a pothole there?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
I just wanted to clarify what you're.
yeah, thank you.
In the maximum.
You may not have to do that.
Just spoke to Sergeant Rossini home, he does remember the call, he does remember seeing the pothole. Okay?
And the gears of government grind on.
Good job.
Thank you, Major.
I was gonna say I saw one, but I was.
See that the clerk's gonna pay you in pennies.
You should have commission.
Council President, I believe there was a motion made to table if council.
I remove my motion.
Because, before she tried to do the motion, I did my motion to approve.
Yep.
But now it has
And I
to be
never
contingent.
withdraw.
Well, let me for a second, to approve
Second.
Franklin, second. Councilwoman Pena, roll call vote.
Councilperson Baena?
Yes.
When you look at it right after I
Yes.
reported it.
Councilperson Lavasa?
Yes.
Councilperson Figueroa?
Yes.
Councilperson Solano?
Yes.
Councilperson Rosado Martinez?
Yes.
Council President Ferrer?
Yes, thank you, Major, for clarifying that.
Anytime,
So, Madam,
Motion passes 7-0.
He's gonna have
When
six,
we cut the check off.
he's gonna have 600 rolls of pennies tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. Merry Christmas.
Next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Council President.
Thank you.
You're
Before
welcome.
we adjourn, may I just address the council quickly? I just wanna make an invitation, so tomorrow at 3:30, we have our Education Community Advisory Board meeting. So it is a meeting similar to how the council meetings are run, like the advisory council, the advisory board will meet and kind of discuss among themselves, but it is open to the public. So I wanted to just, share with you all and with, constituents, if anyone's interested in attending, they can. The engagement will be limited, again, because it's similar to this sort of model where we'll meet, discuss, but people can meet in attendance as well. It's at 3:30.
I can take my cat with me.
top time,
My cat's gonna be
top time.
Here, oh, it's 3:30 here in council chambers.
3:30 here.
Yes.
I wanna say thank you to this council and my colleagues, you know, pending another special meeting, God forbid something happened in the city where we need a special meeting. This obviously is the last meeting of the year, and, I wanna thank you all, and, Merry Christmas, sir.
And
I'll
best
see you
of luck
after New Year's.
to Franklin, to
Oh,
Councilman
yes.
Solano and Councilwoman Lavasser.
8 years. My
Last
brother
meeting
from another
today.
mother.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how we did it for you.
But we did it. That's the more important thing. We it wasn't easy, but we.
My name is.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, I received the last email.
Thank you. Let you work. I would like to say.
Yeah, the last thing we agree that by, we're probably gonna have to do some research on our end as well. Okay, because I knew the first one you said the sooner we could get it, the better, so I thought you emailed that